Our first actual for realsies match review of the night comes to us from SH4DOWOLF, who has 1,700 hours, so fairly past that adept zone of 1K hours where you should know most of your DBD Dead by Daylight fundamentals. Playing Wesker, which is a very, very good character, on Ironworks of Misery. Ironworks of Misery, the original, is a very, very survivor-sided, very good map. The alternative version of Ironworks, where the Ironworks main building is off in the corner, is a lot better, a lot more fair on both sides. There's a lot of dead zones on that map, which is kind of what evens it out. But let's take a look at add-ons and your points. Okay, you have leather gloves and unicorn medallion. Unicorn medallion is probably Wesker's best add-on, so that's totally fine and good. Leather gloves is what I like to use on Wesker, just because I like the more quality of life add-ons. Just kind of a person I am in general in terms of what I like to run. Wesker's one of those characters where it's kind of like most of his add-ons are good choices, besides like red herb and stuff like that. You can kind of find a use for all of his add-ons, so it's kind of hard to go wrong, but you're using a perfectly fine pairing there. Your build is mostly fine. I understand the pick of Brutal on Wesker, because a lot of people just pre-throw against Wesker to avoid the one shenanigans. But Surge is kind of an odd choice, because you should ideally be downing people with your M2 as much as possible, so you can force them to get infected and force them to spray. So, like, the choice of Surge on a killer that you should be M2ing as much as possible is kind of like a bizarre pick. I would replace that with something else. But Grim Embrace and Painrest have good synergy. That's fine. Painrest obviously being the best slowdown in the game, and Grim being probably the third best at this point. Yeah, they're borderline placebo, but they're like they're good quality of life. Like that is the line of add-ons that exists on every character. It's just like, I just want more recovery. I just want more of this. You know, like just quality of life add-ons. And I'm not gonna dissuade somebody who's like learning a character from like using quality of life add-ons. Now if it was like even that, like if it was like Tendril, or like, for example, on Pinhead, the leather strip, like add-ons like that you get less value with. Like it's almost redundant, but I don't think leather gloves is like quite on that level. Yeah. Don't break that. Thank you. No, you're fine. You don't have to apologize. It's just unfortunate. What am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? What did homie just do? Dry kicking is fine. Dry kicking is not fine. Inhale, exhale. Dry kicking a generator only does 5% of damage to a generator. A survivor is able to get back on that gen and undo the damage you just did in a relatively short period of time with 5% of progress, which means that if you have not caught the survivor that you were going to chase after you kicked the gen, or if you're not aware that, you know, there's for sure or very, very likely nobody else around to get on the gen immediately after, dry kicking is quite literally a waste of time. Making me look mega smart, thanks. So please, do not dry kick generators if you're even slightly have the inkling that somebody is going to be around to just undo your kick. Garage on dry kicking because it's bad. I'm not harsh on it. I'm exactly what I need to be on it. It's a bad move. I'm harsh on it because it sucks. And then the match reviews are about improving your consistency in the game. You know what's funny? I've had people say that to me before in match reviews. They're like, bro, yeah, that's so sweaty to recommend that. And it's like, brother, it's a fucking match review. What the fuck do you want? Don't tell them how to improve because that would make them too sweaty. You're missing the point. Match the center review. Do it. Do it. Yeah, you're wasting a lot of time up here on this one person. I would probably drop chase. Yeah, because you found Bill. You have already been in this chase. It's starting to go on a minute. So Don't clock me too bad, I won't. Eruption is good with other kick perks. Like if you use Pop and Eruption, Pop Eruption's great. Eruption is more reserved for like M2 killers now. Kinda can't run that in general. What about an M2 killer where you're not going to be getting something like Surge or Sloppy value? Yeah, you were chasing this bill for way too long. Yeah, you need to leave. Yeah, go find somebody else. Good. Yeah, a little confused there. Typically when you're in this situation, I know survivors do it at low MMR because they're bad. But when you're in this situation where somebody vaults a window like that, they're not going to vault back into you because that's what you were reading. That's why you doubled back there, because you were like, oh, what if you vaulted back into me? Generally, as you get better and better, people are not going to be doing this. People aren't going to like vault back into you, so you should stop looking for that. Nice.
Playtime is over.
Playtime is over. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You did the right thing there by disembarking. You did a little late, though. That's fine, because you're going to chase the one person. Yeah, you're going to chase the one person. I don't know why you did that. I'm guessing your brain was like, immediately get far away from the hooks to proc Grim, but like you could have just chased Bill and had the same thing happen. Yeah, you disembarked a little too late from that chase. That pallet is just really good. This pallet right here, I hate this pallet. I hate dealing with it no matter what character I'm playing. Good job breaking up the heal. They both went the same way. You seem to like you're paying almost like a little bit too much attention to scratch marks. Like you actually lose distance and chase because you're like, oh boy, scratch marks, where are these going? You're like it's gonna use scratch marks as kind of like a general guide on where to go. But like you're actually actively looking away from people that are in eyesight to check scratch marks, which is not something you should be doing. Focus on the survivors, not like pulse of blood scratch marks. Use those if you don't know where they're headed or you don't know where they are. Don't be like checking mid chase for scratch marks. Yeah, why do you do that? Yeah, you get like really confused and start checking scratch marks mid chase. Spoiler for one of your takeaways. Stop doing that. You are losing a lot of like, I know it's only like 2 seconds, but like that 2 seconds added to chase consistently, every single chase adds up. That's a bad habit. You need to not do that. I would have stayed on him. I wouldn't have left that chase. Yeah, you just spent way too long on that first chase, and now you're just like disembarking chase too much. Like, especially when you have perks that are based on getting downs and hooks. Like, I don't know. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Oh, that's unlucky for him.
Too bad you won't.
See, like, for example, you're at 2 gens. You have gotten 0 use out of Surge. You've gotten 0 use out of Surge. You know why? Because the one down you got was with your M2. That's why Surge is bad on this character. Because you're gonna be not. You might as well have not had this as a perk slot. You might as well have thrown something else here because you're gonna be downing people a lot with your M2. So you're naturally gonna be getting less value out of Surge out of somebody who only downs through M1s.
Further.
Oh.
That's rough. I think that Surge I think Surge is balanced on the basis that it doesn't. Bog. I think the reason it's a well-balanced perk that's not, I don't know why you just let him get that hook right there. Why did you just let Bill unhook right there? Yeah, why did you just let Bill unhook that guy for free? If you had like pop or something, I would understand going over to this gen and kicking it or something. But like, you just gotta let Bill get the unhook for free. Because like what happens here is like you let Bill get the unhook, he just heals up the Alan Wake goes sprays, and all your pressure's just gone. Whereas if you would chase Bill, either the other Alan Wake or Feng Min would have to come off their gen to come get the save. So you just kind of gave up pressure on an extra survivor for no reason. Old parents in some matches, yeah. I would just swing there. Like, unless you're somebody like Xenomorph, where like you get the hit over top the pallet, like a Xenomorph, a Huntress, last hit of like a Trickster, like Laceration, like I would not respect a pallet that hard. I don't know if that's like Brula Brain making you do that, but like the best you could do is try. You might as well swing and see if it hits. Good patience. You're making the smart decision to want a tunnel now, but it's kind of too late. This match just kind of landslided way too much. Now you don't know which one switched because they're both Alan Wake. I think you ended up on the other one. No, you got the right guy. Never mind. I don't know why. What was that? You should have just sent that. You were very afraid of pallets. Pallets are scary, yes. But like, you respect pallets a little too hard. At this point, you're just trying to salvage at least a one kill. Maybe even one and then another for endgame.
All I could spare to play.
But this is definitely not a win.
Just getting started.
Ooh. Good awareness. Yeah, you respect pallets way too much. You fear pallets a little too much. Is it good in general to be like, I shouldn't just be eating every single stun? Yeah, generally, but like, you're also just like not swinging through any pallets. You're also like, you were just too scared of these things. Like that swing that you missed the Alan Wake back there, where you slowly swung away from the pallet. Like, it's not going to end the game if you get a pallet stun. It's not that long. Like, you're like terrified of these things. Well, these could have potentially been hits, or at least forcing the pallet down early. Yeah, now you went from Bill, you went from chasing Bill for an incredibly long period of time to not committing to like a chase on like anybody. You like flip flop, not the perk. Go to give me a kiss. Enjoy your look, friend. I appreciate you. So you find Bill about 30 seconds, and you don't switch off to chase Alan Wake. Wow, you chased him for over a minute. You chased him for over a minute. You know that? Yeah, you chased him for like a minute and 20 seconds almost. That is not good. That is not good. Average chases to Dead by Daylight need to be like 30 to 40 seconds. If you're hitting 50 seconds and you haven't downed the guy, you got to start thinking about leaving. You chase this person for a minute and 20 seconds. You know, gens are 90 seconds, right? Like from start to finish, no perks, no items. That's 90 seconds. You essentially chased Bill for almost the entire length of a gen, unimpeded. So no wonder all these gens are flying, because you committed that chase for an egregiously long amount of time. That's how it goes. If you commit to somebody for the full chase, almost the full length of a gen, then gens are going to get done. That's not even considering like prove thyself, not resilience because it was the beginning of the match. Any sort of toolbox, even a brown toolbox, does that quicker. Like it's no wonder all these gens are popping. You brought all this slowdown. You brought 3 slowdown into the game, and it has not done anything for you. And now that you've committed to a chase for almost the full length of a gen, now you're like not even committing to any downs when all of your slowdown is based on getting downs. So you like flip-flop from one bad habit to another. And I think in general, it seems like you just don't have a plan. You're just panicking. I don't know why you check over here by the finish gen. I don't like the temper tantrum there. I really don't like the temper tantrum there. Like that was I'm not a fan of that. Especially considering the fact that like now that we're in the match review, we can see that like the choices you made led up to this happening. I don't like that. Because like that, you know, this is the consequences of your actions, right? You did this to yourself, essentially. So you shaking your head and swinging and like kind of like kicking your feet and stomping over here at the edge of the map when it's like things that were completely preventable. I'm not a tremendous fan of that attitude. Awesome video, great job. Thanks, Claw. Appreciate it. Dad, you have no pressure to speak of either. You have nothing. You have no leverage. Nobody's injured. You don't have anybody on hook. You have nothing. Sometimes it can be frustrating, but that's like, if we're talking about match review, right? It's the same thing. It's like we were talking about earlier. I forget what we were talking about at the beginning of this match review, but it was like, you really can't dink them on that because ABC, and like, no, it's a match review. This is the whole point of this. This is the honesty hour, right? You come to me, you say, what am I doing wrong? Attitude can be just as much a part of the problem as anything else. Attitude can be just as much of a problem that you need to work on as anything. That impedes. Like I have a video coming out that'll probably be out by the time this hits the YouTube, talking about how like one of the things that impedes people in Dead by Daylight is their attitude and how they handle their anger. So this is one of those things where like when this is completely preventable, this should be very much an internal question and not an external question. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I don't like this. Yeah, but they're actively no-persing at the survivors, too. Yeah, this is kind of rough. You don't have any leverage whatsoever. Oh. Yeah, dead hard. That's unfortunate. Yeah, this isn't helping you any. The tantrum is not helping you. I don't... No, you're fine. You can work. You can put in that video. It's just I need sound. Nothing wrong with the video choice. I just need sound for it. We got one kill. Now that I see this is kind of like how you're reacting in the end game, it kind of makes sense why you were just kind of like splitting off chases and stuff. Like mid-match, because if you were that frustrated, Like, that makes sense why you're just like, just like disembarking Chase so like erratically. Oh, Bill messes up. Oh. Okay, good. I was like, don't give him the out. Why not Cypress there? Avoid the potential. Or you just want to move him out for cinematic purposes?
Let's finish this.
Goodbye, Billiam. Alright, so I can look at their builds, and they do have some pretty beefy stuff. There's Commodious, there's a Prove Thyself, there's a good, like, 2 Ranger medkits, but that's not why you lost. Yes, I know that, Nord. I know you said that earlier, but he's doing that at the Survivors and nopersing the Survivors. Like, you can't tell me, like, oh, but I do it as a shelf shame to myself when he's actively looking at the Survivors, nopersing at them, hitting the environment in front of them. Like, that's not... Like, yeah, that's great. I'm glad you don't do that to other people and you mean it that way. But, like, that's, like, if you're watching what I'm watching, that's not what's happening. He's not nopersing to himself. He's nopersing at people and smacking the environment at people. That's not what's happening. Okay, so in terms of your takeaways, because this is entirely preventable, and fortunately for you, it's entirely your fault. It's not like, oh, the Survivors were just too OP. They were just gen rushing. You spend an egregious amount of time with Bill at the beginning of this match. You chased Bill for far too long. You chased Bill, and you know, if they had a Commodious, you chased people for like the almost the length of an entire gen. Solo from the start, not thinking about perks, items, add-ons, anything like that. So you chased him for way too long. Chases in Dead by Daylight need to be 30 to 40 seconds. And if it's starting to hit 50 seconds, I would start looking to leave that chase. Take an injury, take some kick pallets, and call it a day. And then you had kind of the opposite problem, where like chases in Dead by Daylight should be 30 to 40 seconds, and you weren't even spending the 30 to 40 seconds in chase. You like flip-flop to the other side, where you're like, you would just leave chase before you got anything, before you got a pallet, before you got an injury, and then those chases were just like empty pressure and wasted time. So I feel like, as much as I usually say, and how much this is important to this match, and this is kind of the main reason you lost, you should disembark a chase if it gets too long. That 30 to 40 seconds of time invested in a chase is also important, so you can get an injury, get a pallet, so that's not wasted time in the match itself. So yeah, definitely that's kind of the main reason you lost, because when all of your slowdown is based on getting a down and getting a hook, like Joel, Grim Embrace, Pain Res, like you brought 3 slowdown in this match as a top 10 character in the game. There's no reason you should be in this situation unless they had egregiously strong builds themselves as well. So like, yeah, you needed to get downs. You needed to get downs early, and that did not happen. You overcommitted to a chase and then started not committing to chases at all. Second, very briefly, Jolt is a perk that works best on M1 killers that mostly focus on using their normal attack. Wesker is a character where you definitely should be using your power as much as possible, and Jolt obviously doesn't proc off of a power down, so you weren't getting value out of this perk, so you should just replace it. There's gonna be a lot of takeaways. There's gonna be 4 takeaways. I was trying to condense these into 1, but I can't. 3, third takeaway is you're a little too scared of pallets. You're a little too scared of pallets. It's okay to respect pallets if you're a character like I was saying, Xenomorph, Huntress, Trickster if their laceration bar is high. Just kind of bait the pallet drop and then hit them over it. But Wesker doesn't have the ability to hit over pallets. So baiting the pallet kind of does nothing for you. I'm pretty sure you were kind of doing this because you had brutal strength, so you thought that it was fine, that you could mitigate that lost time a bit. And it does slightly, but it's still ultimately not a good play to make. It's not a good move to make. So I would just attempt to hit them through the pallet more often. Your 4th takeaway, and like I've been saying, is if your attitude is like getting frustrated, and you're getting that frustrated where you're like no-persing people, slamming into objects, and like Like, that's not good. Your attitude affects your gameplay as much as anything else. And like I said, you'll have to tell me because you're not in chat at the moment of recording. But like, it would kind of make sense that you were kind of like disembarking Chase very erratically after committing too hard at the beginning if you were upset, if you were mad. Because that didn't make sense to go from one extreme to the other. But if you were just getting frustrated, yeah, like, that makes more sense. I think like if you're getting that heated and you're getting that upset, that's definitely something that is going to affect your performance and affect your gameplay. I don't know if this was your first match of the day or this was quite a few matches deep, but getting tilted and getting upset can definitely affect your performance. It can definitely impact how you're playing, and what you saw here and what I'm alluding to is your decision making. So your decision to just kind of randomly leave chases for no reason may have been made because you were frustrated, because you were upset. And I also think in general, it's just kind of like, it's okay to be like, you know, I lost and that happened, right? Like it's okay to be like, well, that sucked and I had a bad time. But like reacting like where you're like no-persing, slamming your weapon on stuff, no-persing the survivors, it's like, I don't know, I just don't like that, and it doesn't help you at all. So I would work on your attitude when playing the game, because if you got mad earlier and that is why you were disembarking chases so much, that definitely affected your gameplay, but also just like your mental health as a person. It's not good to get that upset at the game. Or even if it was just to like be like, these stupid sweaty survivors, that's not a good attitude either. These stupid sweaty survivors gen rush me, I'm gonna no-pers them and smack the environment in front of them. Like, that's not a good attitude either. That's way too aggressive for a video game. So that would be my 4, which is a lot, but that is my 4. I think all these, I think the biggest thing was the overcommitment to the chase at the beginning, and then the lack of commitment to chases afterwards, but all these had a contributing factor.